Discover Esther's origin story in Orphan First Kill, a Paramount Plus exclusive that is a prequel to Dramatic Pause. Orphan from 2009. I know. A movie called Orphan First Kill having something to do with a movie called Orphan. Man, Hollywood's so fucking creative. It's mind-blowing how anybody can be this creative. But nevertheless, it was directed by William Brent Bell, a name that sticks in my fucking craw every time I read it because, while I'm sure he's a nice guy, these are the movies that he's directed. Stay Alive, ha, 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 ha. It's about a killer video game. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah, I retro-reviewed that and it wasn't very good. But maybe he did other stuff. The Devil Inside, The Devil Inside. Oh my god, it's The Devil Inside. That wasn't very good. And he also did The Boy, Brahms, The Boy 2, and Separation. Boy, the fact that The Boy might have been the best of those, that's certainly saying something. This was written by 3 different people. Alex Mace, all about that Mace. He actually came up with the story for the first Orphan movie, which actually would technically be the sequel because this is a prequel. It's a bit complicated. It's going to be an Orphan meta-universe. Also written by David Leslie Johnson McGoldrick. God, that's a mouthful of a name. Aquaman, Orphan, Conjuring 2, Conjuring 3, and a few others. And also by David Cogshell. The Haunting in Connecticut 2, Ghosts of Georgia. That is an actual movie that exists, and a title that makes no goddamn sense from a geographical standpoint, or from the standpoint of why they fucking make a sequel to The Haunting in Connecticut. Nevertheless, this is an origin story about Esther. Isabelle Furman, who was terrific in the original Orphan, has been in other movies since. And yeah, she's returning, despite the fact that while she was... This is going to be a bit of a spoiler as far as the first Orphan movie goes, so if you've not seen the first Orphan movie, pause this, go watch it, and then you will understand. And see, wasn't that pretty goddamn great, all things considered, despite the bonkers twist and the fact that it didn't quite make a whole lot of sense, and you have to wonder how this came to be, how she got into that particular position. Well, Isabelle was a kid at the time the original Orphan came out, but she was a kid playing somebody that wasn't a kid, but looked like a kid. And that's basically what the question was going to be here. Like, well, she's an adult. She's like 25. I think she was 23 when they filmed this, and then it just sat in development hell for a bit. Can't imagine why. And they had to digitally de-age her and use stunt doubles and stuff like that and everything. Isabelle's a very good actress. She's actually quite good. I think she has a very bright future, not just in horror movies, but in dramas in general, because she showed that poise and was very, very good in Orphan. And she's not bad here. Julia Stiles is in this. I don't know where they dug up Julia Stiles, but she should be put back there with extreme force because she was sleepwalking through this. And then Rossif Sutherland plays Julia Stiles' husband. And basically, parents find their missing daughter, bring her back to America, and then the dramatic horrifying events continue to unfold. Basically, Esther, actually Lena, is in a Estonian institute and escapes, and then manages to look up where missing children in a database, and then plays the daughter Esther of the Albright family. But the Albright family turns out to have their own secrets and everything. They get revealed, and I'll talk about that in a little bit in the spoiler section. But Esther finds the perfect family, a way to basically get over here, possibly, get probably just, maybe steal money because they happen to be wealthy, whatever. Just find a way to continue to unfold her evil plan. Cass, you Albrights! Would have been hilarious if Isabelle had actually managed to pull off the Skeletor laugh, but a monkey wrench gets thrown in, and it turns out that maybe there are more evil people in the world than just Esther. So yeah, this movie did ask if I had a few questions going into this and was hoping it would answer. One, would this, cover up the loopholes about how a girl from Estonia somehow managed to get over here without the paperwork, because you can try to forge that, but you're eventually going to get caught. How would she get here to America? It answers that. How would she be able to blend in and everything? Would she be able to blend in well? It sort of answers that. And the third most important question, would a prequel to Orphan actually be any goddamn good? The answer to that third one is no. Absolutely not. William Brent Bell should have his directorial license taken away. Because the fact that The Boy is the best movie that he probably fucking did is astonishing, because The Boy was shockingly bad. It had an interesting concept and a bad payoff. Much like The Boy, this movie pretty much ends the same goddamn way, believe it or not. Sorry, that may be a bit of a spoiler, but if you haven't seen The Boy, maybe you don't remember The Boy. You would be forgiven if you didn't remember it, because it was kind of absolutely dog shit in the end. But it's also fucking hilarious. There are a few decent kills, and Isabelle is about as good as she can be, considering that she's, 13. Well, and as far as the movie release date, she's 13 years older. She's actually only about 11 years older than she was, but still 23, trying to play a kid. I mean, that's bold. Now, they did okay, but you can absolutely see why this movie got released on streaming, because it was not very fucking good. Now, there are some people that might actually like this. I have no huge affection towards the original Orphan, even though I thought it was quite good. Vera Farmiga, Peter Sarsgaard, they were good. And a little girl who played Max, she was good as well. And CCH Pounder, sorry, maturity, I'm trying to be mature. She was good as well, but Isabelle stole the goddamn show. And you had to wonder what other role she was going to end up doing. Down Dark Hall, I probably should review that at some point, rewatch and review that. She was good in that too. The thing about a movie like this is it has no right to exist. There's the Annabelle prequel, Annabelle Creation, that was really good because it was a prequel to a movie that nobody really fucking liked, or not that many people did, because it was a cash grab on the original Conjuring. And it fucking managed to be one of the most absorbing goddamn horror movies and one of the best horror prequels of all fucking time, in my personal opinion. This has no right to exist because while it answers some questions, it just leaves more like, okay, who were we supposed to cheer for? That's the thing about this. There was a clear-cut, who are we supposed to cheer for in this, or in the first one, and in this, it's like, okay, I don't like any of these fucking characters. Everybody's a fucking idiot, or a fucking douchebag, or they're just, or, they're all fucked up in the goddamn head, and that's really what it comes down to, and it turns out to actually be one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and it's a good thing that it was on streaming and on Paramount Plus, so I didn't have to pay for it. Yes, you pay a monthly subscription for fees, for streaming services, but nevertheless, you get a lot of free shit, because you get it for one whole monthly price. In fact, I would have liked to have seen somebody killed by a hoe. Perhaps maybe, take a hoe to the goddamn script and bury it and come up with something else. Yeah, it was bad. It was really, really fucking bad. It wasted Isabelle, in my personal opinion. And while I guess, yes, it did pretty much set up how things would turn out in Orphan 2009, you almost have to wonder if they're going to try to wring more motherfucking shit out of this and maybe find a way to do another one. Because of the way they had, something at the end, you almost have to wonder, are we actually going to get to the first Orphan, or are we going to get another one? And also, Orphan First Kill is wrong, because it implies that she actually did something before to end up in an institute, so it's not her first kill. So you lied to me. You fucking lied to me, movie. Fuck you, William Brent Bell. Why the fuck are you allowed to make goddamn movies? What the fuck? Stop making this guy make movies unless he actually, can show that he has more competency than a fucking, lobotomized zebra. Anyways, let's get into fucking spoilers. If you have Paramount Plus, it's available there. Go watch it. Maybe you'll like it. I don't know. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay. They're at the Institute in Estonia, and Lena uses her charms on a particular woman, a woman named Anna that just started at her job at this institute, the Sarn Institute. And they end up, what ends up happening is Lena uses her charms, kills a guard, gets out of there, and Anna's all freaked out, which is kind of funny. Anna then ends up getting killed, which is hilarious. I don't know why that's hilarious to me. Anna just happened to be a character is like, she has to get killed. And she got killed in a vicious way. And yeah, that was nice. But the thing is, in the first movie, which is technically the second movie, it felt fresh. It felt like, okay, she's killing that pigeon, or she's doing these violent acts, or doing this shit to keep up the facade. It makes sense. And the doctor had explained to Anna, she has a gland disorder. She's a dwarf, but she's actually 31 years old, or something like that, 30, 31, or something like that, because it takes place a couple years in the past. And then while Anna's corpse is laying down there at the bottom of the stairs, Lena's looking up and everything, and researching, drinking wine, and doing all this, and figuring out the missing person database. and she reunites with Alicia. Books. No, I'm kidding. Or Trisha, I mean. It would have been funny if her name was Alicia. Sorry, I mixed the Albright and the Trisha there. But speaking of mixing up, she automatically, Lena mixed up, or Esther mixed up, because she has two different names, the fact that her grandma is no longer alive. And she continues to mess up. And there's an older brother, Gunnar, who's a fencer and everything, and he does this, and he does a thing with the sword. And that factors in a little bit later into the movie as well. The dad is just thrilled. He's just thrilled because he's a painter. It turns out that Lena/Esther likes to paint because she's been away for so long. No wondering about how she's over there. She got all the way in a foreign country. The detective's wondering what the fuck's going on. The detective, by the way, had to write this down too. Hiro Kanagawa, who actually is a very good actor as well, even if I screwed up the name a little bit, he has been good in a lot of stuff. And then there's a thing with the therapist that she misquotes what type of bird or what the bird's name is because she's been gone for 4 years and she heard something. It's like, oh, okay, that's the bird's name. All right, cool. And she was clearly lying and clearly doing all this stuff. And you would think, oh, okay, it's pretty obvious that the family maybe is just happy to have their daughter back. So, during a party one night, basically, and they play, the record plays, That's the Glory of Love, which was a song at the end of the goddamn end credits for the first movie, by the way. She sees that Esther is drawing. She sees her Bible, Trisha does. And she, is wondering what the hell is going on. Well, later, Lena happens to see Esther's diary and starts to talk like her, Mummy, hi, Mummy, tries to do that. But she's got the Russian accent, the Estonian accent, because she's not actually a kid from America. And then so the detective wants to do a group therapy session thing, and Esther doesn't want to do, or Lena doesn't want to do that. And then there's a campfire party. The brother blows Lena off, and somebody mentions she dresses like Lizzie Borden. Who's Lizzie Borden? Oh, she's a woman that killed, a girl that killed her parents and everybody with an axe. For fucking shadowing, please. So the detective gets some fingerprints while visiting after this while this campfire is going on. He gets this record, takes the fingerprints, and it turns out the fingerprints don't match. And Esther stabs him. Stab. 9. It's like the Trilogy of Terror, the Tiki doll thing, whatever the hell it was. And then, what the hell's going on? Like, it says, how did you know I wasn't Esther? It's like, oh, don't worry, the mom doesn't know. Yes, she does. Or she knows that you're not her. What do you mean? And then suddenly gunshots. Trisha shot the goddamn cop. Why'd she shoot the cop? It turns out that Trisha's really fucked up because Esther died because Gunnar played too rough with his sister and killed her. And Trisha covered it up. And somehow Alan is a complete fucking idiot and he doesn't know this. He's too busy painting. And Trisha basically says, you're going to help me cover this up and you're going to play Esther and then you can live this life of luxury and everything. And this all happens within 5 fucking minutes and it's absolutely hilarious. I'm like, okay, maybe we're going to do something with this twist. No, the movie doesn't do anything with this twist. It wastes Julia Stiles' talent. It wastes Isabelle. The Gunnar kid or teenager completely fucking wasted. Completely fucking wasted here. I don't know, maybe the screenwriters are fucking wasted. Maybe the director is wasted. In fact, maybe the director was wasted from birth because I think that's the only way to explain how he keeps making movies in the same stupid, motherfucking bullshit way. Despite the fact he gets different concepts, he somehow manages to make them terrible every single fucking time. How is he getting work? Enough. Maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe he's just getting bad projects. Maybe he'll come up with something really, really fucking iconic soon. So she shot the detective, tells Esther all this, and says, Esther, you're going to play along. Your favorite color is going to be pink. You're going to play the daughter. And Esther's trying to bond with Alan because she likes him, because she's a dwarf. And I'm going to bond like I'm his kid, but then I'm going to get him, and because I want him and this kind of stuff and everything. And it's gross. It doesn't play the same in the first one. which is technically the second one. So Trisha tells Gunnar about it because Gunnar knew all this time, like, that can't be my sister. My sister's dead. Oh, so we have to play along with this. Okay, let's do that. Hey, Esther, play piano and entertain the guests and everything, and you can continue to live this life of luxury. And then Esther finds out... She finds out about how immigrants are viewed and everything because one offhanded thing about Gunnar is, oh, people like me matter. People like you don't. Ooh, he's against immigrants. Shouldn't be against immigrants. Let's let people come over here and live the American dream. If they can find a better job, that's great. That's great. And they can provide and they can do all this stuff. And we're all human. Anyway, but the whole point is that's just thrown in there. They're just chucking shit at this point. I think the screenwriters gave up. There's nighttime painting. That's where you see the the glowy blacklight painting that you see in the second movie. And Trisha basically says he would never love you. He would just shun you like a freak, like all guys do. Laying on really goddamn thick at this point. By the way, there was a pet little mouse that was in a vent, and Esther fed him food that was kind of cheesy and everything, and then the mouse died. Or passed out. I think it died because it ate drugged stuff, and because it was a little bitty mouse and not a full-grown adult-ish, it died. And that's a shame, because that mouse was probably the best, character, most fleshed-out character in the movie. Ironic for a movie about dead bodies. So, Lena made breakfast for everybody and made a smoothie for Trisha that had the dead mouse in it. But Trisha can't say anything because her husband doesn't know that their son killed the guy. Or maybe it's just her son, and maybe he just married into this and whatever. And they're apparently rich. I don't know what the fuck Trisha does. Maybe she's just rich in general. And somehow they managed to hide all this goddamn shit. And the fact that the son's a fucking murderer and Trisha's a psychopath. And they meet at a train station. They part ways because Alan goes for a meeting. And then... they're like, okay, we're done with this because you tried to push us in front of the train before Alan got there. So we're going to get you. And then Lena, gets the pepper spray, sprays Gunnar in the eyes, and runs. Gets the car, leaves as Maniac plays because she's a maniac and she's gunning like she's never gunned before. And then the cop gets her, takes her back to the house, and then they decide, hey, we're going to kill her. And then Gunnar shoves her down the steps. It's supposed to look like suicide. But then he gets his fencing thing out, and then in the paint room, she hits him with a crossbow that was used earlier, because he used it like one time. He used it one time, and then it was factored into the movie later. You're doing a little bit of target practice, and she she stabs him with a goddamn arrow from the crossbow, and then stabs him with a sword. Die. Trilogy of Terror. Go look it up. It's certainly better than this goddamn thing. And then Trisha's upset. Julia Stiles. God, poor Julia Stiles. Remember when she was in Good Stuff? She is trying to get to her because she gets Esther. She tosses her around. Somehow a burner gets turned on, which somehow ignites the whole goddamn house because the burner just stays on. I guess the house was made out of oily rags. So everything just goes up. They're battling on the roof. Alan gets home and sees all this stuff going on. And then Trisha and Leinster are hanging from here. And then, oh, help me, Alan, help me. And then Trisha slips, even though she's a psychopath. We're supposed to feel bad for her. We don't. Her head hits the curb. She apparently fell at like a 90 goddamn degree angle. And then he rescues Lena, Esther, and Esther says, I did this for you. We could be together, because she had false teeth in there, teeth that look like kids' teeth. And he's like, you can't do that. And then she shoves him because he refused her advances. And also, while the house is on fire, the house fire just apparently stopped. It's like that house fire in Final Fantasy 3/6 that you could be in for an hour battling enemies and somehow it doesn't burn down. And I know that was magic, but still. And anybody that has not played Final Fantasy games has no fucking idea what I'm talking about. And then the glory of love. She gets her stuff and she leaves. And then Who will adopt Esther? Oh, why, she wouldn't even hurt a fly. No, it doesn't say that, but they might as well have, because it pretty much was trying to be like Psycho there. And another thing, just really quickly before, because that's the entire plot, they referenced, the doctor talked to Anna in the beginning of the movie, that she killed a family, couldn't seduce the dad, and that's why she's here. So this isn't her first kill. This is like maybe her 5th kill. I guess Orphan 5th kill wouldn't have had the same goddamn ring to it. Maybe we're going to see a story about that. Maybe we'll get Orphan before first kill. Can we get Orphan Beyond Thunderdome? Can we get Orphan better script next time? Fuck you, William Brent Bell, for putting this goddamn, purgatory-infested mess on screen. Fuck Paramount for goddamn making it. Fuck anybody that thought it. No, if you thought it was good, that's fine. But it's one of the worst movies I've seen this year, and I wanted to like it. I think Isabelle is a bright young actress, is gonna go far. God damn it. Agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.